All right, you know what time it is now.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, a duly authorized organization swings into action.
It's that time of the week. It's time for Police Blotter Facts Friday. All week long, we ask you to send in your funny stories or items from your local daily or weekly newspaper involving the local constabulary, the police department reacting to some menace or a naked man or whatever. And what you should do, it could be from your local paper's police column. Many papers still have the column, the police log, the police blotter. It could be a standalone story. And what you should do when you see a funny story involving the local constabulary, send it to grace@howiecarrshow.com, grace@howiecarrshow.com, or you can still use our fax numbers, 857-284-8864, 857-284-8864. And at this time, every Friday, we read the best entries of the week, and the two best entries get a nice prize. What do they get this week, Grace?
They'll be getting a copy of your book, What Really Happened.
All right, which you can get for free if you buy any kind of cheap bastard deal today only for that special offer, pre-Valentine's Day.
All right, here are the runners-up, Howie. Popeyes employee assaults coworker with chicken. 19.
Well, what else would he use? It's Popeyes, right? He's not going to hit him with a veal shank, right?
Could have been spinach at Popeyes.
19-year-old Popeyes chicken employee Trinity Hillsman and her 20-year-old brother Brennan Hillsman were charged with assault after Trinity assaulted her coworker with a piece of chicken, and her brother came back with friends to assault the victim a second time by kicking him while on the ground in the parking lot. So
wait a second, Grace, what kind of was it? Was it a drumstick, a breast, a thigh? What did she use?
It says a piece of chicken, and if I had to surmise, I would say probably a nugget of sorts.
A nugget?
You don't think they went for like a nice big tender, like a nice breast?
Well, I would say either a breast, a tender, or a nugget. I would not say a bone, because I think we would hear about it if a bone was involved, because that can make it a deadly weapon probably, right?
No, I think it would be a dangerous weapon at most. Dangerous weapon. I would think, though, the only thing that you could really hold in your hand as a cudgel or a sap would be a leg, wouldn't it?
Maybe you, if you don't think you could handle the piece of chicken, but some people are more advanced in street fighting.
I just don't think I would want to bring a chicken breast to a knife fight.
Yeah. Well, the employees fought. It's not made clear what about. The girl threw the piece of chicken, and then her brother and his friends waited by the man's car to basically jump him. And he said, the guy jumped out and said, "What's all that talking with my sister?" Then they started punching and kicking Isaac in the parking lot. I hope Isaac sues and gets some money out of this. Bank robber gave teller his actual ID during ill-fated heist.
So this is great.
They're just not making bank robbers like they used to. Somewhere
really
Whitey Bulger is rolling over in his grave thinking about the utter incompetence of the modern day bank robber.
A Chicago bank robbery suspect gave a teller his state-issued ID along with a withdrawal slip.
Who I am?
Wait, his state-issued ID, is that anything like an EBT card?
No, I don't think. I think it was his real
I'd imagine
ID.
it's a driver's license.
But why wouldn't it say a driver's license? Right? Why is it saying a state-issued ID if it's a driver's license?
That's also a state-issued ID, is it not?
I know it is, but it's very imprecise.
And that's a good question, Howie. You can look
Maybe
into that.
that's just how the police log had it documented.
This is why you develop sources in the police department, right, Taylor? So you can find out what was really used.
Is that a dig at me that I didn't find the source of whether or not it was an EBT or an ID?
No, I'm just saying. Taylor used to go down to the New Bedford Police Department, just like I used to go down to the Winston-Salem Police Department, and sometimes the Boston Police Department.
Edner Flores, 34, entered a PNC bank in the city's Humboldt Park section and waited in line before handing a teller a deposit ticket with the words "armed" and "no dye packs." But Howie, dye was
DIE.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem: the Chicago schools have been out for a long time, and the teachers are still refusing to go back. And this is the kind of tragedies that are going to occur.
Leading the quick-witted bank employee to press a silent alarm. The savvy teller then asked Flores, who was wearing a hood and a surgical mask at the time, if he wanted to make a deposit or a withdrawal. The employee then gave Flores a blue withdrawal slip on which he scrawled $10,000 and filled out his account number as 123456789 before handing it back. Flores proceeded to give his authentic ID to the teller when asked, forking over his temporary state ID card issued by the Illinois Secretary of State just days earlier.
What's his name?
Answers it. Edner Flores.
I'm going to guess it was not a legitimate driver's license under any circumstances.
I'm starting to think it might not have been either. Man covered in...
It certainly wasn't a voter ID card, says Rambo 413. Yeah, I think we can assume that safely, yes.
Man covered in lubricant pleasures himself throughout Nashville Walmart.
Throughout Nashville Walmart?
So there's this site, Howie, and it's called The Scoop Nashville, and they collect a lot of mugshots and crazy stories. And so in May of 2020, the man here, Brian Love, posted...
Brian Love was into some self-love at the Walmart?
Exactly. He posted, please don't ever let me end up on Scoop Nashville, because that's like the big site.
Right.
And so then they captioned this, Brian, today is your day. On Monday, Metro Police located 26-year-old Brian Love exposed and covered in lubricant while pleasuring himself and pushing a shopping cart through a Nashville Walmart.
And all these little mom and pop stores are shut down. And yet Walmart's is allowed to be open, and this kind of person using lubricant for his own unspeakable ends is allowed to run amok. Shocking.
It says he also appeared to have been watching an adult movie on his iPhone. Multitasker. Wife accused of stabbing husband after finding photos of him having sex with another woman. But that woman ended up being herself. A woman,
Oh, no.
A woman in Mexico was so blinded by jealousy that she couldn't recognize.
I bet she was blinded by something else. Maybe was tequila involved in this incident?
Or maybe she hadn't seen a recent picture and said, who's the fat broad that my husband's banging?
No, I think it's the opposite. A woman in Mexico was so blinded by jealousy that she couldn't recognize her own body before resorting to violence. The angry wife is accused of stabbing her husband after finding photos of him having sex with a much younger and slimmer woman. What she failed to realize was the mistress was herself, photographed a few years earlier. The husband tried to explain to her, I think while she was stabbing him, that he had found the photos and decided to upload them to his phone. Kind of romantic. And
what was her name?
Her name, the suspect identified only as Leonora R.
And what's his name?
It does not say.
Okay. I'm going to say his name was Pedro. Leonora said, Pedro, you got some splaining to do.
Man smashed open Gardner Museum door, tossed in painting he had earlier stolen from a Newbury Street gallery.
Wait a second. What museum was this?
The Gardner Museum.
So this is like a man bites dog story. Someone didn't steal a picture from the Gardner. They brought a picture back that they had stolen from somewhere else.
Yeah, I know. It's really odd.
Was it a Vermeer, by the way, worth $300 million?
Well, I'm getting the sense that it wasn't a real high-priced item because the man stole it and wrapped a blanket around it and then threw it back. And I guess when he stole it, okay, wait, let me break this down.
Was it a velvet Elvis? Was it stolen from a place in Wellington Circle?
Boston police report arresting a Randolph man on charges he smashed in a door at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum and left behind an object that brought the bomb and hazmat units early Saturday. Police report BPD detectives and U.S. Marshals nabbed Robert Viens, 48, at a house in Braintree on Tuesday morning. He was charged with breaking and entering with intent to commit a felony. ArtNet reports that the mystery item found by police was a blanket-wrapped painting. Police say Viens was already wanted for the theft of that painting and another item stolen from the art and gallery. After tossing the stolen paintings into the museum, he then pedaled away on his bike.
Wait, he pedaled away from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, which is in like the Fenway. He pedaled down to Braintree where he was apprehended. That's a long, cold, dangerous bike ride, isn't it?
He might be a really good bicyclist. He's not a good thief, but he might be good on a bike. Neighbor smears dog poop on Fort Lauderdale man's yard signs.
Is this another indignity that Roger Stone has had to suffer this week?
Zach Heeman says he felt he had a good relationship with his neighbor, but when the Fort Lauderdale resident posted yard signs expressing his opinion, they were smeared with dog feces. So all I wanted to know was what the sign said.
Yeah, exactly.
He explained it to the police. He said, the first one was a tolerance sign. They said that we believe all lives matter, that love is love, that feminism is everything, and that you should essentially be accepting of everybody's opinions and beliefs. The second two were just reflecting the fact that Donald Trump doesn't reflect our values.
Not very many details in that one.
Someone thinks the picture that was thrown into the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum was dogs playing cards.
Could be. Guys, by the way, Police Blotter Facts Friday, as always, is brought to you by Piantadosi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years of baking excellence since 1916. Parish man, this is Parish, Florida, shoved Taco Bell burrito into wife's face during confrontation. A Parish man is accused of smashing his Taco Bell order in his wife's face and up her nose during a confrontation over the weekend. She was talking to him that she was upset and depressed about an issue with her family, and she thought he was going to comfort her. And instead, he just went to Taco Bell and picked up lunch. Then when he came back, he held it in front of her face, making fun of her for being upset. The woman grabbed the burrito and threw it on the floor. This is when things got ugly. He picked up the burrito from the floor and smashed it in her face.
How do we know he wasn't using the burrito as a swab to take a COVID test?
That's true. I'm just saying, like, it's almost Valentine's Day, and people are being very, very cranky around this romantic holiday.
They're setting the bar very low.
Yes.
That's what they're doing.
Naked man goes for a run amid lockdown in London. Says he took off his clothes to wash himself.
Was there a fountain in the neighborhood?
Actually, how it's funny you should say that, because it does say everyone who saw him said he was walking down the road. He was walking quickly towards Bloomsbury Square Gardens and past the British Museum, completely unfazed by the numerous people staring at him. And I'm sorry I'm going fast here, guys. I have a lot of good ones.
Was his name Tubin?
Another good question. After second successful robbery of a Fenway bank, man splurged on a cab to a McDonald's across town. Another local story. This happened on Huntington Ave at the Chase Bank. A man who held up the Chase Bank on Huntington Ave struck again around 11:40 on a Saturday. Oh, this time it was Massachusetts Ave. He ditched his outer clothing and then hopped in a car ride over to the McDonald's.
Cab ride.
No, it says in a car ride.
Okay, I think it was a cab, though, that he took. But okay, go ahead.
When was the last time you saw a cab, my friend? The man gave a teller a demand note, said he had a gun, then fled on foot before his change of clothes and cab ride arrived. You're right, Howie.
The headline did say taxi, didn't it?
He's described as white, 5'5" to 5'8", with a medium build and gray hair around his ears. Huh.
Now, why do you think he went to a McDonald's on Mass Ave, of all places? Grace, do you think he was actually in the mood for a Big Mac, or was he going to buy something else, perhaps outside the McDonald's, from a vendor in the parking lot, so to speak?
Oh, I don't know. I'm such a McDonald's purist. I really was thinking of some hot fries on a cold night.
Looking to get some Coke? Is that what you're saying? Diet Coke or?
They do have really good fountain soda. Guys, when we get back,
especially down on Mass Ave. Yeah.
I have one more runner-up, and then I have our two winners. All
right. We will be right back. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr. 844-500-4242. Back with Police Blotter Facts Friday with the winners with Grace Curley. What do you got,
Here-
Grace?
Here we go. Naked Wichita Falls man accused of licking windows. The suspect had a knife on him and fled from officers when they arrived on the scene. Officers chased the suspect on foot, and the suspect was eventually brought down with a taser. A victim told officers,
Don't tase me, bro! Don't tase me! I didn't do anything! Ow! Ow!
Grace, were they consenting adult windows?
that's a very good question. I don't even
Were they in
understand.
pain?
The suspect was taken to the hospital after complaints of chest pains. An officer said the suspect had a
Chest
history.
pains. Get it?
Oh, very good, Howie. You are on it today. All right. And this is my last story. It's really amazing. I want to know your take. Garbage man's caught on video snowman attack gets him fired. A garbage man in England has been fired after getting caught on camera going kung fu on a family's sidewalk snowman. Footage shows the orange uniformed trash worker delivering a half dozen kicks to the 6-foot snowman, decapitating the construction and ultimately reducing it to half its.
Barbaric!
Wait, so this is what's crazy. He gets fired, and because he killed this kid snowman, and
But
the mom's
Frosty
like,
the Snowman will be back. You know,
This
we
is-
all know that, right? It's in the song. He'll
Howie,
be
this
back
is-
someday
this is
with
the
his
be-
magic hat.
This is the best part. Meanwhile, the so-called bin man has told the Mirror that he'll build the kid another snowman if the family wants, but that he is not sorry. I don't think I have to say I'm sorry. His family knew it was not going to be there forever. He said the
How does he
snowman was-
know that?
He said the snowman was obstructing his path. I decided to kick it because I didn't think it was going to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't think that snowmen have feelings. It was going to melt and snow again. I didn't think
Take
would
it
have
up with
such an
Frosty.
impact.
Sounds like a couple of snowflakes to me.
Someone on Twitter said, this obviously has shown his character. Would you employ him? Thank you to Piantosi Baking Company for their delicious bread and for sponsoring Police Blotter Facts Friday.
Back with Dr. Matt. I'm Howie Carr.